Charles Jordan on Monday, September 29th, 1975. And at 7 o'clock tonight, Lowell Thomas marks his 45th anniversary of bringing the night's news over the radio. And I'll stand by for his broadcast recorded from the CBS Radio Network at 7 o'clock p.m.
CBS covers the world at 7 o'clock. From Barcelona, Spain, from Point Barrow, Alaska, and from Zamboanga comes today's news. Good evening, everybody. This is Lowell Thomas for CBS News. First, a welcome to WIBA Madison, Wisconsin, and WFIX Huntsville, Alabama, both joining our CBS Radio network today as I begin my 46th year with this news program, about which I've been swamped with telegrams, letters, phone calls. More on this a little bit later. First, the news. At the White House, President Ford signed into law an extension of domestic oil price controls till mid-November. He also made it plain he holds Congress to blame for failure to work an overall energy plan into operation. The president saying, when the price of gasoline goes up at the service station, I want the American people to know exactly where the blame lies. The president leaves tomorrow on a 2-day trip to the Midwest, his first since that incident in San Francisco a week ago. He'll return on Thursday to welcome Emperor Hirohito. And now this message. Justice Douglas on the bench again. Earlier in the year, he had a stroke. Today, he was at the Supreme Court for the first time since March. The weekend execution of 5 terrorists in Spain has led to a big strike in the Basque part of the country. In Barcelona, also, there was a payroll robbery staged by Basque guerrillas who shot and wounded 2 gendarmes and then made off with $500,000 in cash. At the UN, there's a call for a meeting of the Security Council. Mexico wants to demand sanctions against Spain for disregard of human rights. And Spain is branding this as intolerable interference in Spain's domestic affairs. At Point Barrow, the northern tip of Alaska, a change in Arctic winds, clearing a passage 12 miles wide through that ice pack in the Beaufort Sea, enabling the fleet of ships to push on with $1 billion worth of vital pipeline equipment for Prudhoe. The newest ceasefire in Beirut seems to be holding. Residents coming out of their homes with the thousands to clean up, including more bodies they've found, raising the death toll to at least 338. A Japanese freighter and crew seized by 40 Muslim pirates were freed today thanks to a Philippine admiral. In a confrontation off Zamboanga, the southern Philippines, Admiral Romulo Espaldon signaled the pirates to give up or he'd wipe them out, all of them, and they knew he meant it. So the pirates gave up their prize. And now this message. On this, my 45th anniversary, messages have been coming in from far and wide, one from the geographical center of Australia, one from up on Bering Sea, and so on. And as a gesture to all who have been so thoughtful, I'm going to quote from one letter, and I'm sure you'll be pleased to know that he's still around going strong. He writes, Lowell, your voice sounds just like it did when we followed you on radio those many, many years ago. And then he adds, one of my fond memories is of you introducing us at Madison Square Garden when you said, I'd like my epitaph to read, here lies the bird who was heard by millions of people who were waiting to hear Amos and Andy. And the letter is from Beverly Hills. It's from Amos. Freeman Gosden, one of the finest guys who ever lived. Alas, Andy is no longer with us. I was lucky indeed when I first went on the air 45 years ago, just moments ahead of Amos and Andy, the 2 most popular entertainers there have ever been, even more widely acclaimed than the fabulous Charlie Chaplin. And if it hadn't been for Amos and Andy, well, I might not have gotten off to such a good start. I might not have survived all these 45 years. And now for CBS News, this is Lowell Thomas once again saying, so long until tomorrow.
WCBS News time is 7:06. Good evening. I'm Harvey Hauptman, 62 degrees.